I've got something a little different for this week's second video. I'm going to be restoring these knives and this knife block. As you can see, they're looking a little bit worse for wear, including the coating coming off of the actual main knife. So when you chop stuff now, you're getting little bits of the black bits coming off, and yeah, you don't want that going in your food. I got Emma these knives as a present. They weren't super expensive, but they weren't really cheap ones. And we got them because they were black and it kind of matched the kitchen. But now that everything's sort of peeling off, they need a bit of work doing to them. So my plan is that I'm just going to try and take it all back to the bare metal and have them as bare metal knives. And then I can sharpen them and get them working. So I'm going to use an angle grinder and a Dremel to try and clean these all up. So I guess we just best get cracking, really. Oh, and this isn't a how-to video, so don't try this at home and all that. So I've just wire grinded all of these down using this little one on the Dremel, which wasn't the best, and then a little wire wheel on the grinder. Managed to break the tip off one of them because I slipped and snapped it on the sort of attachment of the grinder. So I've had to do a bit of a bodge repair on that by just rounding it over on the belt sander. Now I'm going to get some metal polish and see if I can clean these up a little bit more, and possibly, depending on how the polish works, I may just run them over the belt sander, which I tried with this one when I was repairing it, and it gives a sort of brushed metal look, which is quite nice. So I'll do that and then I'll see how they're looking, and then I'll move on to doing this knife block. Then once this is done, or once the stain and stuff's drying, I'll go inside and I'll get these sharpened up. I decided that I would have a little go on the belt sander before polishing them up. Really don't do this with your knives though, it's a stupid idea, but they're starting to look better. And I didn't die. Well, if you're watching this video, I didn't. So I've got the polish out, and before you ask, of course it's food safe. I would never use a car polish. Well, hopefully this will shine these up quite nicely. So that's just a quick polish, and I'll compare the two. Oh yeah, it's cleaning up pretty well, to be fair. Blatantly can't see that on camera, but take my word for it. So I've polished all them up, so they're ready to go in, get a good clean and get sharpened, which I'm going to do inside. And I'm just going to give this a bit of a sand. I'm going to hand sand it at first just to see if it's actually going to clean up all right. And if it will, I'll get the sander out and give it a good proper sand. Just taking these little feet off, and I'll replace them with some nicer felt ones. Okay, so you can see that's definitely going to sand up. So what I'm going to do is remove this badge which is a bit knackered to be honest, so that's not even going to get replaced. And now we'll get the sander out and we'll give this a real good sanding. As I expected, I couldn't get enough of the black paint off to be able to just oil this, so I'm going to stain this black and then oil it. It's pretty nice wood though. I'm not sure what wood this is, but it doesn't take stain the best. It doesn't massively soak in, and it soaks in at much different rates. These light parts don't massively take the stain. At first I thought if I missed some sanding and left some of the finish on, but definitely haven't. Okay, so I've brought the knives in, I've given them a good wash, so they're looking quite decent. So all they need now is just a good sharpening. I'll just do a little test, the classic test. Not paper, because who cuts paper with a knife? Let's use, that's pretty blunt. So it chops the tomato, but you need to saw and action it. That one just about. That one won't. And that one will. So that's the most blunt. So we'll use that one after we've sharpened it to test again. So I've got the whetstone all ready. And that's been soaked in water. And then I'm just gonna put it in its little housing thing. And then it's pretty easy to do. You literally basically just do that over and over and over and over again. And then I'll turn it over. So it's 1000 grit, then 6000 grit. But I'm gonna time lapse this because this takes absolutely ages of literally just doing that at an angle. So I'll get this done and then we'll test and see how sharp they are. Hopefully I don't lose a finger at this point because I've done all the stupid stuff. Fingers crossed. I gave the stain a couple of coats to stain it best I could, just denibbing it between each coat just with a bit of 400 grit wet and dry paper, and then I oiled it up using some Danish oil. And there we go, we are done. Not the most conventional way of restoring some knives. The purists among us would be mortified, no doubt. But I definitely think they look a lot better than they did when they were just peeling and a bit knackered looking. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I definitely think it's worth at least subscribing for the fact that I managed not to chop any fingers or arms or anything off. So yeah, subscribe for that, and I'll see you in the next one.